All right. So what in the world do I got going on over here? This is what we work with on a daily basis. What you're looking at here is you're looking at different methods of either polishing or sealing. You have all different types of sealers here. And the thing is that you need to know which sealer to use for what application and for what reason. Each and every one of these produces a different result. This one here is a great product, but this one has a little bit of acrylic. So what is acrylic? Acrylic is what's in wax. This floor polish basically is wax. And when you take, oh, these are both wet looks. This one. Okay, when you take this one is a solvent-based penetrating sealer, just like our solvent-based penetrating sealer. So basically what ends up happening is that when you marry this one with this one, you create this one. That's basically what's going on. So what ends up happening is that when you apply this, what it does is that it absorbs into the pores. But there's a little bit of acrylic that stays on top. So what ends up happening is that when that's applied, it's gonna bead when water or oil makes contact with your stone. It's gonna bead a little bit, or not a little bit, it's gonna bead a lot. But what ends up happening is that when something acidic, like something as harsh as this, or something as diluted vinegar, what ends up happening is that it degrades it. Not only will it degrade it, but just like acid, if you were to spray it and it just ends up landing on your countertop, this is gonna take the brunt. But what people usually are bothered about is seeing the spots on their countertop. So whether the spot is on the bare stone or the spot is on this acrylic layer on top, you're still gonna see the spot because acid burns. So it's what you see that's gonna end up happening. But this right here is a penetrating sealer with a little bit of acrylic to it. This one here is a wet look. So this one here is a penetrating sealer with silicone. It's the silicone that gives it that wet look, that darkened look. This one here, enhance and seal. So these two pretty much do the exact same thing. One's called wet look, one's called enhance and seal. Just like if we come over here to ours, it's a color enhancer. So each of these products are all pretty much the same thing. Operate a little bit differently, but they're all pretty much the same thing. If we come over here and we go with this one, this bad boy here is classified as a sealer, but it's not a sealer. It's an epoxy. It's a polyurethane. It's a finish. So this one I believe is a part A. So this right here is a polyurethane with a part A, part B. So if you have like an epoxied garage floor, you'll see the guys when they're out there mixing their products, they're mixing a part A and a part B in their big bucket before they apply it onto your floor, right? So people call it a sealer because the act of sealing is occurring. But it's not a sealer, it's a polyurethane. It's a topical coating, is what this is. This is far different than this, or this. Completely different scale. So this one here, this one is a color enhancing sealer. This is a solvent-based penetrating color enhancing sealer. So this one is similar to what these do, except this one is a little more refined, a little bit on a higher scale that we don't use all the time, but we know when to use it. Now, if we continue to look over here, and we look at these other different products that we have here, what we have here are polishing compounds. Wait, but before I go there, so this one right here is a wax. This is a topical, it's a coating, it's a wax. This bad boy right here, this one here is more like a concrete densifier slash topical coating wax. So this is a different type of finish with some penetrating properties that also leaves a topical. And we'll go into that in a second because this functions just like a crystallizer. So now, what is a crystallizer? A crystallizer is it's a solution that we apply to the floors or to the countertops or to vertical stone, wherever the stone is. It is a product that we apply to your stone, and through the process of friction, we end up basically crystallizing it or burnishing or what's another good way to say it? But we're basically creating friction with the stone, with the product in between. And then what ends up happening is that there's a chemical reaction that happens that it polishes your stone, but leaves a layer on top. But it leaves a layer on top different than this type of acrylic layer. It's more of a candy coat type burnished finish. So it's different than this, but very, very similar. Same thing with this. This is another crystallizer here. This one here is another micro crystallizer. So this one here is very much like the solvent base of crystallizer. This one here is more like the wax of crystallizer. And this one here is more of the in-between of those products. And then all the way over here at the far end, now we have another polishing compound here. And what this one does, very similar to this one right here. So this one you would use on marble. This one you would use on granite. This one, I believe, is in a powder form. Let's open it up. It's been a while since I opened this one up because we don't use it often. You'll see it's a little bit in between. I don't know if you could see that in there, but it's a little bit in between powder and paste, where this one here is more paste than anything else. So what ends up happening is that when you end up using this particular product here, you're creating a fake shine. Now, why in the world is a fake shine important? And this one really goes out to all those people out there that are DIYers or they're trying to compare companies, right? So you end up putting one company versus another company to figure out which one's going to give you the best price, when really you need to be figuring out which one knows the best. And the reason why I share that with you is because if you have an etch, so rewind or watch some of my other videos, but an etch is a reaction when something acidic makes contact with stone. It's not a cleaning problem, it's a restoration problem. And when you end up restoring, and I use countertop loosely, but wherever it is that I say countertop, yeah, it can mean floor or wall. Same difference. Wherever it is at the edges. Basically, when you have an etch, you can get away with, over here, what we have here are resin pads. So now we're going to kind of spiral into this. What these are is that these are resin diamond encrusted pads. This pad is a 100 grit. And basically, you can have a 50 grit, 100 grit, a 200 grit, 400 grit. So what do these grits mean? Basically, think of sandpaper. When you're taking sandpaper to wood, you start with a 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 200, 400. You end up increasing your grit, and the higher it is, the finer it is. The lower the number it is, the rougher it is. Same exact concept, the exact same concept. But here are the tricks of the trade. I could literally go to your house, and I can do your entire floor or your entire countertop. I can hit it with a 50, 100, 200, 400, and then pop it with that. Me popping it with that, now what I did is I gave you a polish and I sealed it. Because once this is on there, nothing's really going to penetrate from that top layer that was created through the friction and this product. So what ends up happening is that company A can charge you, let's just, I don't know, throw out a random price, right? Let's say company A is charging you $1,000. But what company A is going to do is company A is going to do 50, 100, 200, 400. Then they'll end up doing 400, 800, 1,500, finishing with 3,000. And then from there, we can go sealing it with a color enhancing solvent base, or we can seal it with a penetrating slightly acrylic, again, depending on the scenario or the stone. Or company B can now charge you, $600. You're looking at it at a $400 difference. But what you're not seeing is that company B can literally go 50, 100, 400, 800, pop it. And you will absolutely not know the difference. You will not see the difference. You will not feel the difference. The only difference that you're going to feel is that you saved $400. But the difference between going through all the steps and doing it properly is longevity. is when you do something naturally from a 50 all the way to the top in succession, and then you apply the sealer, then what's going on is that the sealer will degrade, but the polish will remain. So a lot of people have the association of sealer and shine. What a lot of people believe is, I don't want a sealer that's gonna make my floor shiny. When you say that, that basically means that you think we're gonna put a wax on there. Because if we were to put a wax on there, yes, you would be correct. We'd put a sealer on there that adds a shine. But that's not what a true penetrating sealer for your stone does. So all of that to say is that there is a ton of different types of sealers out there. And each and every sealer has its function. It has its place, it has its use. So what we have done and what we have created, we've taken all of this knowledge and simplified it for the masses. It brings me back to my original point that I mentioned on a previous video, is that for your home, you need a daily cleaner. You'll need a periodic deep cleaner. But the moment that you use this periodic deep cleaner, you need to use a sealer. Having these three products in conjunction is an outstanding family to have. You cannot go wrong by oversealing. You can seal every week. Now, whether you're doing something is a different story, but you're not harming anything. That's a beautiful story. These two in conjunction is all you need to rest assured that your stone is always sealed. But keeping in mind that this sealer does not operate like this sealer and does not operate like this sealer or any of these. It operates like a penetrating sealer. And what happens is that it absorbs into the pores, but it leaves the surface exposed for chemical reaction if an acidic product makes contact with your stone. So that's why you would want a daily cleaner or a deep cleaner. But once you use the deep cleaner, you need to throw on the sealer. So these three, as part of your go-to, is all you need. This again is in concentrated formula. So for each of these products, we're gonna come out and ready to use. So this way you don't have to guess. So I know that this was a ton of information, but I can't tell you just how passionate I am about this subject from all sorts of levels. So I hope this video was helpful. And on many different levels, from what to use, to understanding that there's a ton of sealers out there, to understanding how different companies can charge you differently based on what it is that they're going to do that you won't know the difference to. So if you have any questions, comments, or anything, just please throw them in the comments section. I'll always do my best to reply, and feed me ideas. What else can I help? What else can I teach you? What else can I elaborate on? This is just a few of the products that we have on the shelves. So if you have any other questions, please throw them down. So in the meantime, I appreciate you watching. You can find us and you can find all of our products line currently right now on Amazon. For now, thank you for hanging with me as long as you have. And as every product we roll out, we're gonna also show you how to use it, where to use it, when to use it, why to use it. Thanks for watching.